Good morning and welcome to class. Hope you all are staying warm this morning. We are going to start standing for some good energy. We're going to start feet about shoulder width apart or a little wider. Good bend to the knees. Roll the shoulders back. Open the palms toward the front. Sink the shoulders down. Exhale. Soften the gaze. Start to notice your breath. Slow, deep breaths. Working on drawing the breath all the way down below the navel. And you, as always, you can use your hands just below the navel to feel that expansion when you inhale. And then you can actually press a little bit to allow that contraction when you exhale. Let's just make sure that we are fully arrived to our practice today, that we've planted ourselves here, and we're not thinking about things outside of practice. We're working on bringing our mind to the here and now. And if our mind starts to wander, all we need to do is recognize and realize that that's happening. And we've already brought ourselves back to the present. The easiest and most powerful way is to follow the breath, follow how we're feeling internally. A couple more breaths. And while we're breathing, let's take inventory, see where we might be tight or painful. If we're noticing some areas that we really need to work on today, maybe take a hand there, maybe to the shoulder, press with the fingers. Start to work those tight muscles out. Especially if we've been hunching forward, looking at a screen or a device. Start to identify the areas that we're going to need to warm up through our practice today. All right, we're going to start with a knee warm up today for our first movement. So let's come feet together. Again, a good generous bend to the knees, and we're going to bring the hands to the kneecaps, but no pressure, not putting any pressure on the knees. Just creating some warmth with the palm of our hand. It's a good area of warmth there, right on the center of the palm. And let's start circling the knees, and it can be a small circle. And we're trying to keep some integrity with our posture as well. So I'm not going to hunch forward like this. I'm going to keep my back fairly straight, even though I'm bent over. So hinging at the hips mostly. And then just making small circles, starting to warm up the knees. And if you feel like you can, go a little wider with the circle. This is not to cause any stress on the knees. This is supposed to be very gentle. Just get some warm up moving, some blood flowing. All right, let's come back up slowly. And we're going to move our feet out to wider than shoulder width. We're going to work on our sunflowers and moonflowers. So let's reach out to the sides. Big reach, big inhale. And then exhale, let's bend like we're sliding down a wall. So really sit down into your seat. Big lift and exhale. So keeping the back fairly straight, tucking the tailbone under as we sit down. Exhale as we come toward the earth. One more time. Big lift. And down, elbows in. All right, let's come straight up with our hands. We're going to move to sunflowers. Circle the arms down and then bring them into cross, bend. But just like our previous movement, we're not going to bring our head lower than our heart. Big lift and cross and bend. Getting our breath into it. One more time. All right, and let's stand. Let's come toward the front of the mat. We're going to do one more flow like this. This one is going to be an airplane flow. So we're going to bring our arms way up, big reach. And then as we bring them behind us, palms forward, we're going to bend. So think of this like a halfway lift. So we can keep the legs fairly straight or bend the knees a little bit, but the crown of the head is reaching forward. And we lift. Again, back is very straight here. Exhale. Airplane. Lift and reach. And forward. One more time. And exhale back. Good. Let's come to standing again. We've got one more motion here. Let's come feet about shoulder width apart. And we're going to do those circular step outs that we've done before. So let's bring our weight to one leg, lift the other leg, circle that lifted leg around, touch with the toe, and then shift the weight over. And we'll do the same on the other side. Really good warm up for the legs. Also works that balance. If we can't lift so high without having to shift our weight drastically and going off balance, use your hand on a wall or just make this tracing a circle on the floor with your toe. You can do that as well. So you're never actually leaving the floor with your toe. Good hip movement here. Just working that balance. Remember to keep the weight on the leg that is down on the ground until the opposite toe touches. Then we shift over. One more time on each side. All right, let's come back to the top of our mat. Big reach up. Extend everything, a little back bend here. Another good breath. Open the chest. Exhale. Let's come to forward fold. Bend the knees a lot here. Rib cage comes toward the legs. Maybe shake the head loose a little. And inhale, let's come up halfway. Shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. One more time, inhale, lift. And forward fold. Cross your arms here if you like to create more weight. Deeper stretch. Very nice. Let's plant the hands down on the mat. We're going to bring the legs back, come to tabletop. Take your time coming here. And we're going to work a couple rounds of cat-cow before we continue. Inhale, belly drops, look up. Exhale, press through the hands, round through the upper back. And through. Nice smooth motions, working with our breath. Make sure you get a good strong exhale when we come to our cat pose. Very nice. Let's come to neutral spine. And let's warm up our wrists a little bit before we continue. So let's take one hand, go the opposite way, so we're palm up, and just put as much pressure as you need to stretch that wrist. Let's not push too hard. Using that stability through the opposite hand. Let's come to the other one. This helps get us set up for all those downward facing dogs we're going to do, other poses that require our wrists and put a lot of pressure on them. All right, let's come back to our tabletop. And one more exercise with the wrists. Let's start to turn our hand like we're turning a dial, and then bring it as close to fingers toward your knees as we can. And you can do the other side as well, or just one at a time. And bring the hips back very, very slightly to help that stretch. Not too much. We don't want to put too much pressure on the wrists. One more breath here. And release. Nice work. All right. We're going to work our half series next. So creating a little bit more breath, a little more movement. Let's shift back to child's pose first. And big exhale. Sinking down toward the mat, arms in front. If you need to bring them a little closer and bend your elbows, if this is too much on your shoulders, you can do that. Or we can be really nice and extended. Your choice. Remember, this practice is for you, so do the things that are working for your body today. This practice isn't for anybody else. One more good breath here. Expand the breath into the upper back body. And exhale. All right, let's work our half series. So we're going to shift forward to plank or kneeling plank, your choice. Bring the shoulders forward over the fingertips, hug the elbows into the sides, and all the way down with control. Exhale. Big inhale, let's lift back up to our plank or kneeling plank. Shifting back, we're going to come to downward facing dog. You could also do child's here. Inhale, come back to plank, and down, exhale. Inhale, lift, and back. Let's work this at your pace 3 more times. Let's all meet in downward facing dog. Take any movement you might need here. Maybe moving the hips back and forth a little bit. All right, we're going to shift forward like we're going to come to a plank. We're going to hover the knees down just about an inch off the mat. Exhale. Big inhale, come back. Shift all the way back to downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, bring the knees and hover. Big inhale, lift. Exhale, back. One more time, we got this. Inhale, come forward, hover. Strong through the upper back. Lift the knees, shift back, down dog. Breathe. Let's take a walk toward the top of our mat, coming to forward fold. Big exhale. On an inhale, let's come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Big inhale, hinge at the hips, reach. Slight back bend. Exhale, hands to heart. Anjali Mudra. All right, before we start our full sun salutations, let's work a little side bend here. Let's reach up. We can grasp one wrist with the other hand, and then up and over very slightly. Probably go a little deeper on this now that we've warmed a bit for the last few minutes. Just try to take it easy. Let's go to the other side. Reaching up toward the ceiling once more. Big exhale, hands to heart. Settle the shoulders back. Notice where you have tension. Unclench the jaw. All right, we're going to start our sun salutations. We're going to work for strong, smooth energy today. Check your posture. Bend your knees a little bit. Lengthen the neck. And here we go. Big inhale. Reach toward the ceiling, slight back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the mat. Step the right foot back, heel is up for lunge. Step the left foot back, shift all the way back, downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, come to plank. Exhale, shoulders over fingertips and down with control. Inhale, cobra. Using back strength here. Option to lift your hands off the mat as you do a back bend. Exhale, forehead to the mat. Push up and downward facing dog. Exhale. Lift the right leg high, knee can be bent. Three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that leg forward. Help it up if necessary for lunge. Feet together, forward fold. Exhale. Bend the knees a lot. Arms up, hinge at the hips. Exhale. Sit back for chair pose. Back is nice and long. Knees toward one another. And then we'll repeat. Inhale, reach. And forward fold, exhale. Left foot back this time. And right foot downward facing dog. Let's come to plank, inhale. And down with control, exhale. Back bend. And exhale it down, relax everything. Push up and back. Downward facing dog. Lift the left leg. Step through for lunge. Forward fold. Rise up, reach, extended mountain. Chair pose, exhale. Sink down. And again, inhale, reach. Forward fold. Right foot back. Left foot back. Downward facing dog, big exhale. Plank. And slowly down. Cobra. Down. Downward facing dog. Right leg lifts. Lunge. Forward fold. Extended mountain. Chair pose. And again, inhale, reach. Fold. Left foot back. Right foot back, downward facing dog. Plank. And down, exhale. Cobra. And down. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Lunge. Forward fold. Reach up. Sit back. Chair pose. Try to go a little deeper here. No holding our breath. All right, we're almost there. Inhale, reach. And forward fold. Right foot back. Left foot back. Down dog. Plank. Down to the earth. Exhale. Cobra. All the way down. Downward facing dog. Let all the air out. Right leg lifts. Lunge. Forward fold. Extend it up. And sit back. All right, last one. Here we go. Reach up. Big back bend now. Exhale. Hands to the mat. Left foot back. Right foot back. Downward facing dog. Plank. All the way down. Back bend. And down. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Three-legged dog. Lunge. Forward fold. Rise up slowly. Reach. And chair pose. Try to sink a little deeper here. Hold and breathe. Exhale and relax. Great work. Shake it out a little bit, get a drink of water. All right, for our next section, we're going to start at the top of the mat. Then we'll step back with our right foot, open the hips to the right edge, the long edge of the mat for warrior two. Settling the weight between the legs. Back leg is straight, pressing through the edge of that back foot. Front knee over the front ankle. You should be able to see your big toe. If you don't see the big toe, then use your hand very gently to push your knee to the outside. Settle the shoulders. A couple breaths here, then we're going to work a flow. All right, let's come to reverse warrior, dropping that back hand, lifting the front hand, good side bend here. Keeping the lower body where it is. Using core strength, we're going to come forward. Option here to come to the inside of the knee with your left arm, reaching the right arm up. If we want to, or if we can come further, we can reach that hand to the mat and reach the right arm forward off the mat for extended side angle. We're going to use our core strength as a big lift here to come up and all the way back to that reverse warrior. Big inhale. And then as we exhale, coming all the way forward, again, moving in the range that works for you. You can use a block here if you want as well for some support. Otherwise, the arm is on the inside of the knee. Inhale, lift back up. And back. Remember, these are side bends, right? So we're not bending back and forward. This is not a forward fold. Working our side body here. So keeping our hips where they are, not bumping the hips off the side of the mat. One more time, big lift. And exhale, come forward. Coming all the way back up to our warrior two. We're going to turn the toes, now moving toward the long edge of the mat, feet out at 45, toes out at 45 degrees, sitting back and down. We're going to move to sun pose. Arms up and above the knees, making sure that our knees are tracking over our feet. We're not coming in like this or out too far. It can put a lot of stress on our knees and our legs. Try to sit down, good posture with the back. Sink a little deeper if you can. Very good. Let's bring the hands to the legs. We're going to straighten the legs, bring the crown of the head forward. Think halfway lift here, wide legs. We can straighten the toes out toward the long edge. You can stay here. Option to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, perhaps off the mat, off the edge of the mat there. Another option to bring the hands underneath, palm up, wide-legged forward fold. As with a regular fold here, bending the knees is perhaps necessary. Working our way back up slowly, using core strength, but also our hands and our legs, lifting all the way back up. Big exhale. All right, facing now the opposite end of our mat. We're going to do warrior two on the other side and repeat. So just shifting to the side, making sure we have our footing. A few breaths here, and then we'll continue that flow. All right, here we go. Reverse warrior, lifting the right arm this time, big side bend, and then with core strength, coming to our side angle or extended side angle. Lifting back up, inhale, reach. Exhale, come forward. And moving with our breath. Finding the pace that's good for us here. So challenging motions. One more time down. And one more time up. And let's come back to our warrior two, exhale. We're going to come next to warrior one. So turning the hips so we're close to square to the what would be the back edge of the mat, I suppose, since we turned. Lifting the arms up. Same as before, otherwise knee over ankle, back leg is straight behind us. For this pose, we're going to work a little flow as well with the arms. So we're going to bring the arms together, so our palms are together and our elbows are together, and then open goalpost arms. Big open with the chest, and exhale round the upper back so we bring the arms together. One more big breath, open and close. Let's bring the arms behind us, hands to fingers to interlace. And we can start to lift and ratchet up a little bit, opening our shoulders. Option to come to humble warrior, which is basically a forward fold, lifting the arms up behind us. One more breath here. Let's release the hands down to the mat. We're going to walk the hands to the left, coming through center, turning our feet to the other edge of the mat, short edge, and then eventually working our way back up, lifting to warrior one on this side. Awesome, let's bring the arms behind us. Oh, we forgot our cactus flow, so let's bring our arms together and then out, cat-cow motion with the back on this side. One more time. All right, let's release. And now we'll bring our hands behind us, fingers to interlace, lifting off the back. Option to come to humble warrior. Find the things that work for you in this practice. So if humble warrior doesn't agree with you, do the standing version. One more breath. And let's release the hands down to the mat, walk them toward the center again. And then lift up slowly. And we'll come to standing. Shake it out a little bit. Very good. All right. We're going to move to balancing. So let's bring one leg slightly off the floor. Just have our toes down there, bend the knee. See how we're doing with our balance today. We're feeling good, lifting that knee up. Also, like I said before, you could use a wall if you need to help with stability. And then bringing fingers to interlace in front of that knee and lifting, bending that root knee a little bit, making sure we have good balance here. All right, option to extend this leg for hand to big toe pose. So you can do peace fingers with your big toe, otherwise grab on the outside edge, whatever is comfortable for us, and extend out if that works for you. Otherwise, we can stay exactly where we were with that knee. Further option, if we feel comfortable, bring that leg out and open up a little more. Let's release and go to the other side. Starting with that knee grab, get comfortable here. Again, choose the level that is going to work for you. So if just having one leg off the mat is enough, then that's great. All right, and then our option to extend that leg out. Trying to keep integrity with posture here. You notice my hamstrings are very tight, so my leg is actually bent, so I can't go any further out. So what I'm trying to do is keep my posture straight while still having that grab. So something you could also use with this strap. I don't typically use a lot of props in my classes, but if you need a strap, then and you have one, you can use that here. Bring it out to side if that's going to work for you. Try to keep that balance. All right, and let's release. Nice work. All right, next we're going to move to tripod pose. Option for a block here, if that's going to help, with your hands underneath your shoulders here, coming down to the mat. So we're planting one foot. I've got my left foot in the center of the mat, my hands down on the block, right leg is reaching back. So again, if you're just a few inches off the mat here, that's fine. Otherwise, we're trying to lift and get that leg to be parallel to the floor. And without the block, it would just be down here like this. Pick the height on the block that will help you. Option here to come to standing splits. So that would be to bring the hands very close to the leg or to grip onto the leg and lifting that back leg as high as you possibly can. Crown of the head comes down. Rib cage is very close to that front leg as we reach. Awesome, let's release. Slowly come up and we'll go to the other side. So again, using that block for the other side as well if we need. Planting the right foot. Lifting the left leg. Pressing back with the heel, activating that foot. Hands should be directly under shoulders here for our tripod. Option again for standing splits. Hands come back. Torso folds into the leg, lifting that back foot. And release. Nice work. Let's come up slowly and breathe. Good. All right, we've got one energy exercise here. We're going to work today polishing the mirror. Feet wider than shoulder width apart, bend the knees generously. We're going to bring the hands palm out. And then as we inhale, we lift. So straightening the legs a little bit, arms out to sides, exhale. Bring them together to the center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. So really getting that big circular motion like you are polishing a mirror. The other name for this flow is parting the clouds. Working to synchronize the motion and the breath. And exhale, bring the hands down. Nice work. All right, we're going to come to hands and knees for our next section. Good alignment as always. And after all those forward bends, we're going to do a couple back bends here. So let's bring our forearms down to the mat and come to lie down all the way onto our belly for Sphinx pose. Gentle back bend here. Elbows can be directly under the shoulders, or if that's too much for your lower back, bring the elbows forward a little bit. A little less pressure on the lower back. Otherwise, lifting the head, shoulders back. Trying to squeeze the shoulder blades together like we've got a pencil that we're trying to squeeze in between there. On our inhale, trying to bring the heart forward, opening the collarbone a little bit. Very good. Let's come back to our tabletop, bringing the hands under the shoulders and lifting. And we'll shift back to child's pose. We can go narrow legs here if we need more of a lower back stretch. Or if we need wider legs, wider knees, I should say, that's up to you, whatever comfort you need to take in this. Few more breaths here. Letting the heat settle from all those active poses we did, all those balances. On an exhale, let's come back up to our tabletop. And we're going to lift to another back bend here. We're going to come to camel pose, bringing the hands to the lower back, fingers pointing down, and not pressing the pelvis forward too far, letting the shoulders fall back. Looking up slightly. We can stay here for a couple more breaths. Otherwise, we have a few more options for camel pose. If you can reach and hold on to your ankles or your backs of your feet, then you could do that. I can't quite reach. I don't have the back flexibility to do that. I don't want to be hanging out in space here. So if we can't reach, then it's better to keep the hands at the lower back. Second option is to sit back onto the heels, put the hands all the way down onto the mat so the fingers are pointing toward the knees, and then lifting the hips slightly. This is a modified version of Hero, actually, but still a very good chest opener. So any of those three options would be great. Try not to flex too much into the knees here. Working on lifting those hips. Very good. Let's release. We're going to carefully come forward, hands and knees once more. We're going to work next on a plank with a little bit of movement. So we can come to kneeling plank here. You would not be able to do much of the movement. You can do movement with the hands, but not with the feet if you're coming to kneeling plank. So take your option here. We're going to come to our plank and try to hold strong, puffing up the upper back. And we're going to work on first on walking the hands to the right. So let's take our left hand, move it closer to the right hand, then move the right hand off the mat. Right hand back on the mat, left hand off, right hand moves. Moving kind of just back and forth off the mat. So a static plank doesn't do a whole lot for us actually in terms of functional movement. So adding a little bit of movement here will challenge us in different ways. Walk forward and back one more time. And back to center. Nice. All right, if you need to, drop the knees here. We're going to shift back to child's pose one more time. Exhale. Really lengthen back through the tailbone. And then back up to our plank. We'll work our second movement here. So try if you can to come to full plank. And then we're going to move the feet instead. So moving the right foot off the mat and then back on. Left foot off the mat and back on. A few more times each side. And back to center. Let's drop the knees. Exhale. Nice work. All right, those are tough. All right, our hands and knees. Make sure your fingers are spread wide. From here, we're going to work a spinal balance. So some more core work here. Lifting the left hand off the mat, reaching forward. And then working on lifting also the opposite leg. Flexing the foot, pressing through that heel, trying to keep the hips level. One more breath. And then we'll switch. Hand and knee down, and then the other side. Right hand reaches out, left foot extending out through the heel. And come back down. Nice work. From here, we're going to do a sunbird pose flow. Let's lift the right leg. Good bend in the knee. Trying to pick that leg up as high as we can go. Really feel that in the hip flexor, the front of that right, the right thigh there. On an exhale, let's bring that knee forward. We're going to come nose to knee, rounding the back. Exhale. Big lift and inhale, coming back to sunbird. Lifting the head slightly. And down, exhale. Round. Lift, hold, and down. Again, trying to keep the hips level here. Exhale, one more time. Big lift. And down. All right, let's move to the other side. Lift the left leg. Exhale, nose toward knee. One more time. Very nice. All right, let's swing the legs around and we're going to come to a seat. Start our seated poses with butterfly. Soles of the feet together. Let the knees fall down toward the earth. If we need to, we can gently press, but not hard at all, just to encourage the hips to open a little bit more. And sitting tall. Very good. Let's come to a twist. Let's bring the right leg out long. Bring the left foot over the right leg. And then we're going to wrap our right arm around that left leg, around the front of it, lifting our left arm up toward the ceiling. And then exhale and twist to the side, using the right hand and the pressure on that leg to help you move a little bit more to the left. And then looking over your left shoulder finally. Making sure we're sitting nice and tall and that our left hand is very close to our spine in the back there. We get a good amount of lift. And let's release and come to the other side. Right leg, right foot goes over. Wrap that leg with the left hand. Reach the right arm big, all the way up, and then down to the side as we twist. And let's release, come back to center. Legs close together, lifting the arms, and let's exhale, fold forward. We can grab the legs here or grab the toes to help with that stretch. Lengthening the back on an inhale, exhale, bring the crown of the head forward. It's that deepening breath. We got a few different types of breath that we work in yoga. We talked about the expanding breath a little bit. It helps us in poses like child's pose. Lengthening breath helps us here get deeper into this stretch. All right, let's release. We're going to come all the way onto our back. Hugging the knees in and moving side to side. And our last pose is going to be reclined pigeon. So let's take one foot down onto the mat. I've got my right foot down. I'm going to hook my left ankle over my right knee and then reach behind that right thigh and pull it towards me. That knee can be bent. Last note on this one is to activate your foot that is crossed over. So bringing the toes back and flexing that foot helps to protect that knee, activating those muscles. And release, and we'll come to the other side. Very nice. Let's release it all the way down to the mat. Legs straight or knees bent in constructive rest if that's comfortable for you for final rest pose. Bringing our hands down to our sides, palm up. That external rotation, bringing the thumbs to the outside, helps opening the chest. curl the shoulder blades under a little bit if we need to. Further help open the chest. Support the breath. Start slowing the breath, letting some of that heat of our practice dissipate. Scanning our body, noticing how we feel in comparison to when we started class. Notice what might be a little bit tight or painful still. Then also notice the things that feel really good. Relaxing all parts of our body, letting the muscles of the face melt, unclenching the jaw, softening the gaze, softening the brow. Thinking especially about our joints today. Letting the relaxation spread down our spine all the way to our tailbone. Through the shoulders and hips. Elbows and knees. Looking internally and seeing what our self-talk is like today. Notice if we're being overly harsh on ourselves. Imagine if how you talk to yourself, that instead you were talking to another person, and how you would feel about that if the words that you use for yourself would be kind or unkind when spoken to another person. Knowing that others will always or potentially judge us harshly, so we should not add fuel to that flame. Treat ourselves kindly. Slowing the breath even more. Still full inhales and exhales, just very slow. Slight lift in the stomach when we inhale. Exhale, let the belly come down. Start to bring some movement back. Bring our mind back to the present. Maybe knead the shoulders a little bit. Move the ankles or the wrists. Deepen the breath. And when we're ready, let's bring our knees into our chest and turn over to our side. Big exhale as we do. Feeling that sense of renewal after our practice, feeling refreshed, feeling ready to tackle whatever we need to tackle today or in the next few days. Knowing that our practice will carry us through, even if we can't get back to the mat for a couple more days. On an inhale, let's start to lift ourselves up to a seated position. Find something comfortable for us as we relax to our seat. Let's take one big breath together at the end of class here and vibrate. Let's bring our hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer posture. Symbolizes peace. As we take a big inhale, exhale, and we can vibrate and say Om. I will unmute if you want to follow along. Otherwise, you could just listen. All right, let's inhale. Breathe. Thank you for trusting me to lead your practice today. I hope you got a lot out of it. Hope you stay warm this weekend, and we'll see you next time. Namaste.
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 Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, John. You too.
Thanks, Dave. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Stay
Bye.
warm. Bye.
You too, Chris. See you soon.